Hi guys, it's JLite here, and today I'm going to be talking about underrated girl groups. Basically, I'm going to be taking a few girl groups from small companies, taking a song from them, and talking about the MVs and talking about how the company could have made the MV better and more watchable. I know for a fact that these girl groups are from small companies and they cannot afford a big budget as per, say, Blackpink, Red Velvet, Twice, A-Pink, G-Friend, Oh My Girl, or other groups like Nature, Dream Note, Dreamcatcher, Veki Meki, and April, etc. But I'm going to be just talking about what the companies could have done to make the MV more better so that they could garner and get more fans. Personally, I've said I do not care for MVs, but I just want to fix these MVs and share my opinion so that if if the MV was a little better and had more scenes and stuff, the girl groups could have had more fans and more views and stuff. I'm not going to be video editing or changing scenes and stuff since I'm not a professional video editor. I'm just going to be sharing my opinions on what these girl groups could have done within their budget to make the MV more watchable. And I'm also going to be sharing some underrated girl groups from small companies who have and make amazing MVs even though they're from small companies. So let's get into the video, and I hope you enjoy the video, and I hope that you sub to me because I'll be releasing more videos soon. So let's get into the video without wasting any time. Let's go. So before I begin, I just want to say that I personally don't care about MVs. I don't care if the MV is high quality, low quality, bad, terrible or good or amazing or high budgeted. I just care if the song is amazingly produced because I want a well produced song. I don't care about the MV. I've said it many times in the past. As long as the song is good, it doesn't matter if the MV is bad because I don't really watch MVs much and I just use the MV when I'm making a mashup or something or listening to the song. And I'm just making this video for people who care about MVs just as much as they care about the song, and I'm making this for people who want a nice to watch MV, so that's why I'm making this video. And also I did a video in 2020 where I shared 7 tips on how girl groups can improve their MV without spending much money. So if you want to watch that, you can go search it up on my channel, it's right there. So that's what I wanted to say, so let's get into the video. So the first girl group whose MV I'm going to be taking a look at are actually 3 girl groups that are Blue Fox with the debut song Wake Me Up, White Day with the debut song Shine On Light, and Girlkind with their first 2020 comeback of Future. The only reason I put all 3 of these songs into one part and one opinion is because all 3 of these MVs are just basically performance MVs. And Girlkind and Blue Fox did have some solo scenes in the MVs, but all 3 of them would be classified as just performance MVs. Like White Day's MV was just the 3 members dancing in a pink bright room with the camera zooming in and out. So that's basically what they were doing while they were singing. And if you notice, when big girl groups and boy groups release an MV, they release a performance video too where they're like dancing in front of a backdrop, in front of one of the backdrops of the MV. So that's basically what White Day did for their official MV, and they also released a dance practice besides that too. So what you could do to make these 3 MVs better is that you can look at girl groups like Girl Crush's debut song Memories, Black Swan's re-debut song Tonight, Lime Soda's last comeback before they disbanded with Wave, and the boy group Beezy Boys' song Question. All 4 of these MVs were shot in like in one public location that most underrated girl groups shoot in. And if you see these MVs, you can see that it was all shot in one place, but they did have different props and different scenes. Like they had like a sort of chairs, and they had like beds and walls and stuff. So in the MV, it was they all shot the MVs in one place, in the same place. They didn't have like different locations they shot at and then they compiled it into one MV. But what they did was they shot it in one place, and they did have different member scenes, different solo scenes, different scenes in the MV to classify it as a good MV. Even though a lot of underrated girl groups shoot in the same place for their MVs, they have a different aesthetic, they have different scenes and stuff. So that's what Blue Fox, White Day, and Girl Kind are missing. They're missing different scenes. Like if you take Blue Fox, they shot in one room where they have like three windows in the background and a brick wall and stuff. And if they wanted, and if they could have made this MV a lot better and more watchable to some people, they could have added like some props like chairs, and they could have added like some toys or a bed, or like, you know, a sort of an ark or something within their budget. They could have like borrowed it from someone, borrowed it from a house nearby, their studio, borrowed it from anyone, and they could have just like, you know, added different scenes like sitting in the chair or doing something with the chair, doing something with the bed and stuff, and they could have gotten a good MV. Even though this MV was really good and really nice to me, I still think that they could have added a little bit more props to make it better. Like you don't need a big amount for an MV. You don't need a high budget. You just need a good amount of props. You just need some really nice video editing skills. And even if you don't have video editing skills, you can search up on YouTube. There are many tutorials in different languages. And this goes for White Day too. White Day just had a dance MV, and they could have made it better by, you know, taking different corners of the room they shot in, adding props, adding scenes, or adding some effects using Adobe After Effects, or making the MV look nicer with Adobe Premiere Pro or Final Cut if they have an Apple. And for Girl Kind's future, they had weird camera angles. Like the MV was having that robotic hand, and the MV was just having them like turn the camera this way and that way, like from left to right and stuff. And they had some really weird effects in the MV, which was really sad and annoying to me. Well, it wasn't exactly annoying, but it really made the MV look kind of bad and stuff. So these three girl groups could have perfected the MV and made it better on a budget by just having extra props in the MV, having some knowledge of video editing, and adding nice effects. Like if you take the girl group We Girls, they released an MV for their B-side Heartbeat in this one room, or this one house, or this one place. And they basically had different member scenes and solo scenes, and different, you know, they had different props in the video. Like they had like sofas, they had chairs, they had telephones and stuff. And the company is so amazing that the company added many effects and all. Like, you know, like they had the We Girls logo in the end. One scene they had some, whenever their hands would move, they had some effects. That they had some crown effects, heart effects and all, and that literally made the MV look so much more nicer. Even though it wasn't like a high quality budgeted MV, it was still shot on a nice camera, and the effects they added were really nice. So if they take examples from other girl groups, if they look at other girl groups, and if these companies look at how the big groups make the MVs, and if they just, you know, find some really cheap props and really, you know, inexpensive props, they could make their MVs a lot better. And they could, like, you know, make a good MV on a budget, and they wouldn't need to hire a good MV director. They wouldn't even need to, you know, spend a lot of money. They would just need a good camera, some nice props, and some nice effects. Like the girl group Wua with the debut song Wua. Wua was a really low quality MV, but they had different props in it, they had different MV effects in it, and it honestly made the video so much more better to watch. Even though the MV was low quality, meaning the camera quality of the MV was low, the props and the effects made the MV so much more better and so much more watchable. And I'm so glad that Wua's company has stepped up and, you know, is trying to make the MV qualities better. Cause like with Bad Girl and I Don't Miss You, the MVs were so much more aesthetically pleasing and watchable, just like Wua. So if the girl groups take props and video editors and, you know, just did these small changes, they could make the MVs better. Like Girl Kind really did amazingly with the second comeback of 2020 with Psycho For You. The MV was a huge step up from Future's MV, because Future's MV was good, but it was just really not my style and it looked really bad. But when they did Psycho For You, their 2020 comeback after Future, which was released in October-November, the MV was 10 times better. Even though you could tell the MV was low quality, it was still 10 times better, because they had different dancers, they had scenes, they had Zayn drive a car in one scene, they had Medic Jin hold a briefcase and walk, they had Medic Jin in a bathtub, and they had, you know, Ellen stand like a statue, and it was really nice. and I really like the MV. So next level just needs to follow this procedure of doing the same thing they did for Psycho for You, and that's how they would give the girl groups better MVs. um Blue Fox, I think, have disbanded. I'm not sure why they have officially disbanded in 2020, but Girl Can still promote. So Girl Can just needs to follow the Psycho for You MV style, and they could get better MVs and better fans and more fans. So yeah, that's it for this one. Let's go on to the next girl group. So the next girl group whose MVs I'm going to be taking a look at are ICU's Cupid and the Singing Girls is This Night. These are two girl groups. ICU debuted in 2019 and still promote, but Cupid was their only song they released, which is their debut song, and they released dance covers now. They haven't had a comeback yet. While the Singing Girls debuted in 2016 or 17, I believe, I don't remember, and This Night is their comeback song of 2018, and they disbanded now after rebranding into Melody Pink. When they rebranded into Melody Pink, they released the song Hey You, and then they disbanded due to COVID struggles. So both these MVs were really amazing. The camera quality was nice, the songs were nice, the way they shot the MVs, the different member solo scenes were nice. Like in ICU's Cupid, they had different member solo scenes using different parts of this village they shot in. And the Singing Girls is This Night, they had different member solo scenes that whenever the member solo scenes would come, the members would turn around and look at the camera and sing. And when the high note in the bridge came, the camera zoomed in on the member singing the note. Now ICU's Cupid was shot in a village in the daytime, while the Singing Girls were shot in the nighttime down a road while they were holding sparkler sticks. And both these MVs, as I said, were really well shot, but I felt like they could have used more of the location they shot in, and they could have used more of the place, and they could have used all the things in the places they shot in. Like ICU shot in a village, and they did use different parts of the village. Like they had them sitting in a building and stuff, and they had them sitting on benches and having these tiny things, and they did different hand gestures in the village, and they stood next to plants and trees and stuff. But I felt like it wasn't enough, because if you want a good MV, then you need to have different props, and you need to utilize the area you shoot in differently and very well. Like if you take the Singing Girls is This Night, also they did the same thing. They basically just walked down the road holding sparkler sticks, and the company just shot different member solo scenes, and whenever the member solo scenes would come, they turned to the camera, as I said, and they started singing. And when the high note came in the bridge, the camera was zoomed in into the member. And what both of these girl groups could have done to make the MV better is that they could have, they could have utilized every single part of the place they were at. Like they could have used a building, they could have stood in front of a window, they could have stood next to a tree, could have done something, played around with the members, did a choreography and stuff. Like for ICU's Cupid, their MV was really nice, and the things that I found a little bit bad about the MV was that they only had two outfits in the MV, and they kept switching between the outfits. Now the song Cupid by ICU is a quirky song, is a whimsical song. It was like a zimzalabim type of a concept, like a weird song. But the MV didn't look that much weird and quirky to me as it was supposed to, because even though the song is quirky, the MV didn't bring out as much quirky aesthetics as it should have been. So if the village in itself was a nice village, and it really has some nice aesthetics, and if they utilize every single part of the village and got different scenes from different parts of the village, they could have had a nicer MV. And as for the Singing Girls is This Night, it was a more R&B chill song with powerful vocals, and they shot it while walking down the road. Now they could have gotten a nicer MV, but the things that I had a problem with was the fact that they only had one outfit. They didn't have many more outfits, and the fact that when they were shooting the MV, they only had the members walking down a road, then they had the members turn around when it was their solo scene, and they zoomed in on the members singing the high note in the bridge. They didn't even have the choreography for This Night. They could have added some choreography in the MV. They could have had the members doing something beautiful in the MV to bring out the R&B aesthetics. They could have had the members playing a guitar, or they could have had the members standing next to a tree, or playing around with the members and stuff. The Singing Girls also released another version of This Night with Yuri, and that MV wasn't that much nice because in the MV it only has the singer Yuri singing Yuri in the MV, and she's sitting on a stool on like a rooftop and she's playing a guitar, and then in some scene she's moving around on the rooftop, and basically the MV has like glitching effects, and it has like the MV being turned 360 degrees, the whole MV. That MV was bad too, and that could have been better too. So for the both the Singing Girls is This Night and This Night with Yuri, featuring Yuri, the version, they could have had a better MV by playing around with the different scenes in the area. Like, you don't necessarily need to spend a lot of money, you don't necessarily need to buy products, you don't necessarily need to, spend much on backdrops and having different expensive props and all. You can use cheap props, it doesn't matter as long as your camera is good enough and the way you shoot the MV and the way you edit the MV is good enough. Like, you don't even need to buy a location, you don't need to even need to rent out a location. All you need to do is to find a free public space to shoot your MV in, and then that's amazing. You do not actually need any you don't even need like millions of money like Blackpink, Red Velvet, Twice, so like Western, like popular big Western artists like Dua Lipa, Justin Bieber, Ariana Grande. You don't even need a high budget. You just need like different props, a good enough camera, some video editing skills. That's all you need, as I said in the first part. And if ICU and the Singing Girls, if they like what you call it, use their location properly and to the fullest, they could have had a nicer MV. Both these MVs I really like, and I don't really mind at how simple and calm and plain the MVs were. I'm just saying this so that other people could enjoy the MV more, because some people, they look at an underrated girl group and boy group MV that is just a plain one, and sometimes they go like, the song is good but the MV could have been better. So I'm just giving some tips on how these girl groups could have improved the MV and made it better. So the next girl group on this list are actually two girl groups that I could have talked about alongside ICU and the Singing Girls, since they had the same problem with both the MVs being shot outdoors and not enough scenes. So the girl groups are BB6 with their song Some Night. That is a comeback song. They're disbanded now, and it really hurt me internally when they disbanded, because they had so much potential to be amazing, but sadly nobody noticed them. And the other girl group was Flow Sisters with their debut song Love Like a Flower, and I think Flow Sisters are disbanded. I don't really know, because they didn't have any other songs and MVs after Love Like a Flower. Now both these songs were really good in meaning vocally and the things, and the MVs were also okay. Flow Sisters MV was pretty bad. It was like, not the camera quality, I'm not saying about that, but I'm talking about the MV was bad, the dance was bad, and it really looked like a MV shot on a low quality phone or something. BB6's MV on the other hand was better quality and it was better shot, and they had a realistic, nice, clean MV. But I'm going to keep this short and talk about what these girl groups could have done to make the MV better. Like, BB6 had the MV for Promise You, which was a song they released before Some Night, and that MV, even though the camera quality of that MV was low, the MV was really well shot, and they had really nice scenes, and they had different scenes, and the song was pretty cute. So even though the song and the aesthetic of the MV didn't match each other that well, the different scenes in that MV really showed that even though the camera quality was low, they still had different member scenes and stuff. So with Some Night being the song after, being the MV released after Promise You, it was kind of weird to see how the camera quality was better for Some Night, but the MV was just a normal MV, having them dance on the beach with just 1-2 member solo scenes here and there, and zooming in on the member faces and stuff. So if the MV of Promise You was more like, if the MV for Some Night, I mean, was more like the Promise You's MV, having different scenes and them playing around at the beach and the location and stuff, then it would have been amazing. I know they shot on a public island in Boracay in the Philippines and there are people around, but if they managed to shoot an MV in front of people, then they could have gotten different member solo scenes and they could have gotten more parts of the MV and stuff. And so if you look at the girl group Flow Sisters with the MV Love Like a Flower, the MV was shot on a sandy place, like it wasn't a beach or anything, it just had too much of sand. And if you take out their bad dancing and their, lack of dance and the lack of training in dance, if you look at the MV, it was just them, um, you know, back and forth within editing, because they had like two different outfits in the MV, and there were four members. So if you look at them just going back and forth in the MV, it was just them dancing. They didn't even have like any member solo scenes. They didn't. They just had them performing, and it was basically ICU's Cupid MV. If you take out the member solo scenes or the members doing different things, because they had two different outfits, and the video was just transitioning between the members in the different outfits. It didn't even have any different scenes. It didn't even have individual member scenes, so we could see the members' faces properly, so we could know who's singing what part and stuff. The song was amazingly edited in and was amazingly made, and it was like a short Spanish kind of a song. But the MV was really bad. So if you look at both these girl groups, if they had more outfit stylings, if they had like more of scenes, if they had like playing around with the different objects in their location, as I said in two, as I said in the ICU and the singing girls opinion, they could have had a much more diverse kind of an MV, doing different things in the MV, showing that the MV can be amazing. Like if Flow Sister had the close-up member shots like BB6 had in Some Night, we could have known who's singing what part, who the members are, what the members look like, and then they could have made the MV better. So both these girl groups did the playing around with different objects in their location. Then they could have gotten a really nice MV, because I've seen a lot of people when they do summer MVs, they have a lot of different props in their MVs. So BB6, they shot the MV on a beach, and there are a lot of people at the beach, so they could have borrowed something from the people on the beach, like a gun, a toy gun, a water gun, or like a beach ball or something, and played around. And if BB6 had more outfits in the MV except for that one outfit throughout the whole MV, then they could have had more outfit changes too. And I had so much promise for BB6, since the company was really doing well in trying to give them better songs and better MVs, and I thought that they would last, but sadly they didn't. So both these girl groups did whatever I said, like playing around with different objects. They could have had a nicer MV. So the last girl group on this list are actually two girl groups that are New A with the debut song Soldier, and High School with the debut song Baby You're Mine. High School and Flow Sister, I believe, are from the same company, since they have the same logo in their videos, and they uploaded by the same channel, and I don't believe it's a music distribution channel. And I believe New A have disbanded just like Flow Sisters, since I haven't seen any other song besides the song Soldier. High School have also disbanded, which is saddening to me, since I was going to stand them, because there were only like 4 members. But then after I found out that one member left the group, not the company, just the group, and there were going to be 3 members, but then they officially disbanded in 2020. So it's kind of sad to see that. Now both these groups MVs were really well shot. The camera quality, the camera used in fact was really amazing and high quality, and they got different amazing scenes, and it's amazing. But the thing about the MV was the effects added. Like High School's effects weren't even that bad for the song Baby You're Mine, but it wasn't that aesthetically pleasing or good. And if you take New Age Soldier, the effects used in the video were really bad and really not that well done. Like the effects added, they were really nice effects added, but if they were added properly in the video, it would have been nice. Like it just looks like the company um took a certain scene of the MV and added an effect there, added an effect here, added an effect here. They didn't even like properly add the effect, like properly place it. They must have just like picked a random part of the MV and added the effect, added the effect, added the effect. And as for High School's Baby Your Mind, the company actually tried to add the effects properly on the members and stuff, but still the effects looked a little bit poor and little bit poorly done and stuff, and wasn't nice and didn't fit with the aesthetic of the MV. High School are a group that cover their face with a mask because they want people to focus on their talents rather than their visuals. And High School's debut song was shot in like a grayish type of background and stuff, so the colorful effects didn't match. It was a grayish, beigeish or brownish, I don't know what color would you call it. So because of that, the aesthetics, the colors used in the effects didn't match the MV well. So if they shot in a more colorful room, then the MV effects would have been better. So take a girl group like Wua and a girl group like V Girls. Wua debuted with the song Wua, and V Girls had a bonus MV for the B-side Heartbeat, and both these MVs had really nice effects because they were shot in a nicer, they were shot in like a more brighter filled place and stuff. Like even though Wua's MV didn't have that amazing effects, it was still better in comparison to High School and New Age Soldier. And We Girls, they shot in like a really nice, brightly colored house or place or an apartment, and the effects added were really well done and really amazingly done. The company I give props to for doing such an amazing job on the MV. So if you take these girl groups for examples, their effects on their MVs were really well done as comparison to High School and um what you call it, New A. High School's effects would have been better if the effects would looked more betterly done and stuff. Like if the MV was shot in a much more brighter room, in a much more colorful room that didn't look saturated or dark or bland, then the effects would have matched the MV. And for New Age Soldier, if the effects were better and betterly done and betterly added in the MV, then the MV would have been better. I didn't really mind the member solo scenes and stuff and lag thereof, since the MV was really well shot and they got the member solo scenes and stuff. So if both these MVs effects were done better, or if they had no effects at all, it would have been better. Like New Age Soldier would have been better if the effects looked more professional, if the effects didn't look childish or stupid, or if the effects didn't look like it was done in the 90s for a school project or something. And as for High School's Baby or Mine, if the MV was shot in a much more bright and colorful room that didn't have that wasn't a saturated or more darker room, the effects, the colorful effects would have matched better with the MV aesthetic, because bright colors always match with bright colors. Bright colors don't match that well with dark colors. That's the main issue. The colors in the MV didn't match the background they shot in and stuff. So this was the main reason this MV was bad and New Age MV was bad. So guys, that's it for today's video. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I hope that you sub to me, because I'll be releasing more videos soon, including a part 2 to my favorite underrated and underappreciated English songs. I wanted to do this video on the side because I wanted to release some K-pop content along with my other content. And I hope that my explanations for these MVs were good and you understand what I'm trying to say. And I hope that you check out the MV so that you get a better understanding of what I was trying to say. And the MVs are playing in the background of my opinions about the MVs, so then you can even watch the MV along with listening to my opinion, so you can get an idea of what I was trying to say. So I hope you enjoyed the video, and I hope that you sub to me, and I hope that you stay safe, because COVID cases are rising here where I live, slowly by slowly. And I hope that you are protecting yourself in your country so that the COVID cases don't rise in your country. So please keep yourself safe and keep others safe. Keep your family members safe. Wash your hands. Wear masks. Protect. Wow. Practice social distancing, and keep your social distance and stay at home and only go out when necessary. So thank you and bye, and cue outro.